Welcome to the class 8 students. This is the continuation part of the chapter reproduction in plants. In my previous video I have discussed about hybridization process, which is also known as artificial pollination. I hope you have understood what artificial pollination is and why, most importantly, why artificial pollination or hybridization is done. Okay, now the next topic that I will be starting today is fertilization in flowering plants. Okay, how fertilization takes place in flowering plants. When a pollen grain reaches the stigma, so in the previous topic, that is in artificial pollination or in natural type of pollination also, what happens, the pollen grain from a different flower or of the same flower only, when it falls on the stigma of the female reproductive part of the flower, it then starts moving downwards to reach the ovary of the flower. Okay, so I am drawing the male reproductive part, sorry, female reproductive part. Okay, so this part is the stigma, style and ovary. So you all know this, right? Now what happens after pollination? Pollen grains are kept on the stigma, or they are dropped on the stigma. Okay, so when a pollen grain reaches the stigma, it begins to grow a pollen tube that travels down through the style. So this, suppose this one is growing below, okay, growing through a pollen tube. So through the style, throughout the length of the style, a pollen tube will be formed. Okay, and it will reach the ovary. It will reach the ovary. Okay, so through this pollen tube, this pollen will start moving downwards slowly, and the nucleus of the pollen tube, now there is a nucleus of this pollen tube, and this nucleus will start to divide to form two male gametes. So how will two male gametes be formed? From the nucleus of pollen tube. From the nucleus of the pollen tube, two male gametes will be formed, and then one male gamete will reach downwards and fuse with the female gamete here, which is the ovule, okay, inside the ovary, and then the fertilization will take place. Okay, a male gamete or male sex cell travels down, okay, and fuses with the egg cell or the female gamete inside an ovule. The process of fusion of male gamete with the female gamete is known as fertilization. Let me show you, let me bring it near to you. So this one is the pollen grain, and this is going downwards, and the nucleus of this pollen tube, this one, that tube has been formed inside, is the pollen tube, and the nucleus of the pollen tube, as I have written here, forms and divides to form two male gametes. One male gamete moves down below and fuses with the female gamete, and thus fertilization takes place. Okay, this one male gamete that I have written here. So now what happens is, male gamete crosses with or fuses with female gamete. This process is known as fertilization. Okay, and the resultant or the cell that has been produced after the fusion of the male gamete and the female gamete is known as zygote. This is a single celled structure which is the resultant product of the fusion or the fertilization of male and female gamete, and it forms the zygote. Okay, the steps of the process of fertilization are given in this flowchart. Okay, this flowchart is important. I will write it here for you, and you will have to learn the whole flowchart because it may come as a separate 4 or 5 marks question. Okay. Now talking about the process of fertilization. Okay, so the first step is pollen grain is deposited on the stigma of a flower. First step, pollen grain deposited on stigma. So obviously for the fertilization process to start, we need the male gamete to come nearer to the female gamete. That is, the pollen grain, which is the male gamete, will come near to the female gamete. How it will be placed on the stigma of the female reproductive system. Next step, the pollen grain swells and begins to grow a pollen tube. So next what happens, by taking up moisture and other certain chemicals and enzymes from its surrounding, the pollen grain that was deposited on the stigma will start to swell. So pollen grain swells, and what happens, it begins to grow a pollen tube. Grows a pollen tube. Grows a pollen tube. It swells and grows a pollen tube. Okay. What is the third step? You can write. You will have to put arrows in between. Okay. Third stage is the pollen tube grows down through the style to reach the ovules inside the ovary. Pollen tube grows down. I am writing in short, but while you will write for the examination, you will have to write the whole thing that is written here. But just to explain right now, I am writing in short. Okay. So the pollen tube grows down to reach the ovules inside the ovary. Fourth step, arrow. The nucleus of the pollen tube divides to form two male gametes. Nucleus of pollen tube divides to form two male gametes. Okay. Fifth step. A male gamete travels down the pollen tube and fuses with the egg cell inside the ovule. So, as we have seen previously also, when I had drawn the diagram, one male gamete, out of the two male gametes that are formed, one male gamete moves downward to meet with the female gamete and to fuse with it. Okay, one male gamete fuses with female gamete. So this is basically just, I am writing just the points, but I am not writing here in an explanatory manner because I am explaining it with my words right now. I don't have much space here to write the whole thing, otherwise I will have to rub it continuously. So that is why I am writing in points, but you will not write like this in the examination. You will write this thing exactly, the whole thing. Okay. Next, so one male gamete fuses with the female gamete. Next, what happens? Zygote will be formed. Zygote will be formed. Zygote, as I said, is the product of the fertilization between a male and a female gamete. Okay. The zygote divides several times and grows into an embryo. Seventh step, what? Zygote grows into embryo by cell division. Okay, and the last step is embryo develops into seed. So we all know that after fertilization, seed is formed and then fruits are formed. So obviously the zygote that is formed as a result of fertilization, that zygote will undergo cell division and will form an embryo, and that embryo will further develop and form a seed. Okay, seed formation. So this is basically the process of fertilization. 8 steps are needed to go through the process of fertilization. If you are asked to write the process of fertilization, write the whole flow chart from your book, not in this short manner. I have just written here to explain this. I will just give a small recap of the process of fertilization. First thing, what happens is the pollen grain is deposited on the stigma of the female reproductive part of the flower. pollen grain is deposited on the stigma. Then what happens? The pollen grain absorbs moisture and certain chemicals from its surrounding, and it starts to swell. And as it swells, it starts to grow into a pollen tube. Okay. Next, that pollen tube grows downwards through the style. Throughout the length of the style, the pollen tube grows, and then there is a nucleus of the pollen tube which undergoes cell division to form two male gametes. Now, out of these two male gametes, one male gamete fuses with the female gamete. It goes further down to meet with the ovule inside the ovary and fuses with the female gamete. Then after the fusion, which is basically the process of fertilization, the actual process of fertilization, zygote will be formed. Then this zygote will grow into an embryo after further development and cell division. Then embryo will further divide and will form the seed, and that is the whole process of fertilization. Okay, so I hope you have understood. You have to draw this diagram also. This exact diagram, this one is not needed, but this one is needed. Okay, so this thing you will have to learn the whole thing and also practice this diagram. Okay, moving on to the next topic, which is seed formation. Okay, seed formation. So the next topic is seed formation. We have talked about how in the previous topic, that is in fertilization, we have talked about how the zygote develops into the embryo and then develops into a seed. Now we will talk in details about how a seed is formed. Okay, after fertilization, the sepals, petals and stamens. What are the sepals? The small green leaf-like structures near the base. Sepals, then petals. Obviously you know the petals. And the stamen, that means the male reproductive parts. Okay, they fall off from the flower. The stigma and style also wither away. Stigma and style, these are the first two parts. Means, this is the stigma and the style, and this is the ovary. So this part and this part also wither away. Stigma and style, they also wither away. Wither means slowly get destroyed. Okay, the ovary containing the ovules. So inside the ovary, ovules are there. These two get destroyed. This one remains. Okay, the ovary containing the ovules, each with a fertilized egg or zygote, continues to grow. So here inside the ovary, there is now a zygote, which is the resultant of fertilization. The zygote is inside the ovary. Now all other parts of the flower, all other main parts of the flower, they fall off or they get destroyed or wither away. But this part only remains, which contains the zygote. Okay. The zygote divides and grows into an embryo, which has two cotyledons and an embryonic axis. So previously we have seen that zygote grows into embryo after cell division, and embryo grows into seed. Okay, so the zygote that is present here, it divides and grows into an embryo. Okay, which has two cotyledons. We all know that cotyledons, some seeds have two cotyledons, for example peas, and some has a single cotyledon. Okay, so two cotyledons will be there, and an embryonic axis. What is an embryonic axis? We will get to it later on. What is an embryonic axis? The fertilized and developed ovule changes into a seed. So now this ovule changes into a seed. Zygote develops into embryo, embryo develops into seed. A seed is a fertilized and mature ovule which can grow into a new plant under favorable conditions. So if we have to define what is seed, we can say that a seed is a fertilized and mature ovule. Obviously from the ovule seed is formed. From the ovule, when it gets fertilized, it forms zygote, and from zygote after cell division embryo, and further development of embryo forms seed. So a seed is a fertilized embryo, fertilized and mature, fertilized and mature ovule, which can grow into a new plant under favorable conditions. Favorable conditions such as light, moisture, oxygen, all these are favorable conditions. When a seed is formed and it is under certain favorable conditions, it has the potential to grow into a new plant. Okay, so this is all about the formation of seed. Now fruit formation. What is fruit formation? Okay. Now we will talk about fruit formation. Now let's talk about fruit formation. So fruit will obviously form from a seed. So previously we have seen how a seed is formed. Now let's see how fruit is formed. A fruit is a ripened ovary that contains one or more seeds. So a fruit can contain one or more seeds. A fruit can be fleshy or dry. So it can be fleshy or it can be dry also, depending on the wall of the ovary. The wall of the ovary can be fleshy, as in papaya. So the example of fleshy fruit is papaya. Also tomato, cucumber, or as dry in pea. So we all have seen how peas look. They are basically dried fruits, and they contain two cotyledons. You all have seen those green cotyledons, two of them are present, and also cucumber. These are the examples of fleshy fruit: papaya, tomato, cucumber, and those are dry, means depending on the wall of the ovary, fleshy and dry can be classified. So those are dry, some are dry, for example in pea. Okay. The fruit protects the seed from insects, diseases, and extreme climatic conditions. So one seed has the potential to grow into new plants further, more new plants. Okay. So the fruit, the outer surface or the fleshy part, or in fact the dry part also, has the capability to protect the seed from insects, diseases, and extreme climatic conditions. Now the last topic of this chapter is germination of seeds. We need to see how seeds germinate, how seeds can grow into a fully, or how it can develop into a new plant. Okay. So talking about germination of seeds, here I have drawn the parts of a seed. Okay, this diagram is there in your book also. That one I have drawn on board so that it will be easier for me to explain. Okay, a typical seed of gram. So think of a gram seed or a bean seed. These are typical seeds. That means it contains all the parts of a seed. Whatever parts that should be present in a seed, these seeds, means a gram seed and a bean seed, they contain these parts. Okay. Gram and bean consists of a seed coat and an embryo or baby plant. Okay. So here I have drawn the embryo. As you can see, this is the cotyledon and this is the embryonal axis, and then there are two parts of the embryonal axis. On removing the seed coat, so when we remove the seed coat of a seed, the embryo is seen. We can see the embryo only when we remove the seed coat. Okay, it consists of two fleshy cotyledons, 1 and 2. It consists of two fleshy cotyledons and a short curved structure known as embryonic axis. It is slightly curved, as you can see here, and this is known as the embryonal axis. Through the middle part of the embryo it goes. Okay, the axis consists of two parts. The lower part is known as the radicle. This lower part, in your book it is a bit yellowish. That part I have drawn here. Okay, the lower part is the radicle and the upper part in your book, which is the green color part, is the plumule. Okay, so the radicle and the plumule are the two parts of the embryonal axis. Now, what is the function of this radicle and plumule? The radicle will grow into root of a plant, and the plumule will grow into the shoot of a plant. Okay. The upper part consists of a small leafy structure. This one is a small leafy structure which will grow into the shoot, and the lower part, which is the radicle, which forms the root system. Okay. It grows into the this one grows into the shoot. The radicle grows into the root. Clear? The process by which a sleeping or dormant embryo, sleeping or dormant means it is inactive, it is not yet active, but when it comes under certain favorable conditions, for example moisture, light, oxygen, all these things are given to a particular embryo, it becomes active, it wakes up from its dormant condition or sleeping condition and it becomes active, and then it starts to grow into a new plant. This process, when a sleeping or dormant embryo becomes active to grow into a new plant, is known as germination. What is this process known as? Germination. I hope you have learned about this term previously in your lower classes, about 5 or 6. I hope you have learned in those classes. And what are the requirements for germination? Water, suitable temperature, proper temperature, and oxygen. So these requirements, if all the requirements are proper, means not extreme high or extreme low temperature, suitable amount of water or moisture and oxygen is given to a sleeping or dormant embryo, it will wake up from its dormant or inactive condition and become active, and then start to grow into a new plant. Okay, so I hope this chapter is clear to you all. This chapter, with this topic, this chapter is completed, and I hope you have been learning all the videos, and I will give a worksheet from this chapter. Then we can discuss about the answers of the worksheet as well. Okay, thank you.